Welcome to MA 114. It's going to be Introduction to Finite Mathematics with Applications. This is our syllabus. Throughout the semester, it may periodically be updated, but I will always let you know when I update it, and Moodle will always have the most up-to-date syllabus. So, some of the information. My name is Wynn Nelson. You can read about me there. The important thing is that you have access to my email. I'm sure I will be sending out plenty of emails, but this will be useful for you to access to directly email to me. Office hours. So we will be scheduling office hours. I'll be conducting a survey to find what times work for the class. There will be 3 one-hour periods, and we're going to have Zoom office hours. There will be a Zoom meeting link on Moodle for office hours, and office hours are just drop in. I will always be hosting those, and you can just show up there if you have a question. If none of the times work, I encourage you to email me, and then we'll be able to find a time that does work for us. Our textbook, Finite Mathematics, is going to be available through WebAssign. Unfortunately, you have to purchase WebAssign regardless of how much you want to use this textbook or not, because we're going to be using WebAssign for homework. We have our course description, and we have our prerequisites, and we have our course website. We're going to be using Moodle, which you can access at thewolfware.ncsu.edu, and then navigating through that. And our homework is going to be found on the WebAssign, webassign.net/ncsu/login-dat.html. And again, WebAssign is a service that must be purchased. I believe it's going to cost around $120 for this course. And again, it is going to be required. It is, however, free until May 27th, but after May 27th, it's not going to let you in. For course communications, again, we have office hours, we have email, but we'll also have Moodle. There will be quite a variety of Moodle forums, and these forums are going to be quite useful for having any sorts of discussion, but also pragmatically for students asking me questions pertaining to the video lectures we have or to WebAssign. The benefit of having them on Moodle and have it be accessible to everyone is because, one, we as a class can answer each other's questions. So if I'm the only one that's answering questions, it's going to take time for me to get back to every single question and share it around. However, if we decentralize that a little bit, chances are, no matter what your question is, someone other than just me can answer that question. So making it available to more eyes means you'll get an answer sooner rather than later, and I'll be able to check these answers, so you never need to be concerned that you're going to be going off of wrong information. I'll correct if that ever happens. Additionally, it means if I do respond and I answer it directly myself, other people can see that question and can learn the answer through that. If you do decide to email me, I will respond. All things considered, I'll try to do my best to respond within 24 hours. But over the weekend, I cannot promise to be as prompt in my replies. On to course structure. Our course is going to be online. It's going to be as much as possible to an extent asynchronous, meaning we don't need to all congregate at the same time to learn through our materials. The bulk of that means is that we're going to have video lectures. These videos are going to be in response to particular sections of the material, and the format will be you can watch the video, pause the video if you ever need to pause it. If I'm ever going too slow, please use the features in the video player to change the speed at which it plays. Also, feel free to use the video as you find necessary. If you want to jump straight into the homework assignments, and see where the questions arise, and then try to jump around in the video to try to find those answers, please feel free to go ahead. The videos are available for you to gain an additional form of access to the material. I don't require that you watch them. However, I do require that you at least look at them if you want to get the nice little check mark on Moodle pages. Forums. These do have a requirement. For every video, there's going to be a forum, and the forum is a place for you to post questions or to answer questions from your peers. This is, again, required. Each student is required as for your grade to post either a question about the video lecture, to post a question about the WebAssign that the video covered, or to post an answer to someone else's question. Homework. Homework is going to be done through WebAssign, and again, let's see. Video lectures are typically associated with one WebAssign homework, occasionally may be associated with multiple, so that means it's going to be up to you to keep an eye out. If the video covers more than one section, that means there's going to be more than one WebAssign homework associated with it. Each week I'll send a little email saying which assignments are going to be due, but again, you're going to need to keep track. You can see the due dates also on WebAssign to know which ones are going to be required of you. Due dates for all of the assignments are always going to be on Mondays of the following week, of the week kind of after they were introduced. The reason being, if you want to work at 3 a.m. on Sunday night to get your homework done, I have no problem with it. I encourage you to get done as much earlier than waiting until 7 a.m. on Monday. I hope no one bothers to do that because it won't be fun for you. Additionally, if you have questions at that point, there's a much smaller chance that you'll be able to get your questions answered. Just as an example of how this timing is going to work out, for our first week we have homework assignments for sections 1.3 and 3.1. Since that's covered in week 1, that's going to be due next Monday at 8 a.m., which is again the Monday of week 2. So there is those due dates. There are those due dates actually. But do note, if you do need an extension, you can request that within WebAssign itself. You don't even need to send an email to me. It will be automatically granted towards you. If that's not the case, do email me because that's how it should be set up. And the way it works is you will be able to request an extension for any time up to 1 week after the assignment's original due date. I think I currently have it set up so that when you request an extension, it gives you 2 extra days to work on it. If for some reason those 2 days aren't enough, if it's still within that 7 days or that 1 week since the assignment's original due date, you can get a second or third extension. You can have as many extensions as you want, but do note by using the extension, new points will have a 20% penalty on it. That just means if you didn't touch the assignment at all and you take an extension and you got 100%, you answered every question correct, you'd only earn 80% of those points, which 80% is a lot bigger than 0 points, so you should definitely still be taking advantage of these extensions. Tests and final. We're going to have 2 tests and 1 final in this exam, or in this course, sorry. And the way these are going to be done is you're going to be given a full 24 hours to view and to submit your solutions. I encourage you to, if you don't need that much time, don't hang on, just submit it when you're done, just so that you don't forget about it, but you do have that full amount of time. The way this is going to work, if you're not familiar from the way last semester worked, or maybe no one else used this method, is you'll have access to a PDF of what the exam is, and then you'll want to, in a notebook, copy out all your answers to that exam, include your work and any justification as necessary, and then you'll take photo scans and upload that to Moodle. It's going to be the responsibility of you guys to check that the file you submit is correct and that the solutions are readable. If there's issues with that, that can lead to a point deduction. However, if you submit a file that's bad and you're the one that realizes immediately after that there was an error, email me as soon as possible, and you might have a minimum of those penalties. Our test dates. So again, later on in this, we have a section called schedule, and you'll be able to see these as they fit into the schedule. But we'll have a test 1, which will be viewable on Friday, May 22nd at 8 a.m. And you just need to make sure it gets submitted by that Saturday at 8 a.m. Test 2 will be viewable on Wednesday, June 3rd at 8 a.m. And you just need to make sure it gets submitted 24 hours after. And we have the final, that's going to be on Wednesday, June 17th at 8 a.m. And again, you have the full 24 hours to just view it and submit it. Again, if you need less time, I encourage you to take less time. We'll also have a project instead of having an additional test to the ones we talked about. The project will be introduced in week 4, and we'll have more information about that. You'll have about a week, maybe a week or 2, to work on that project, and then you'll submit that project on or by Friday on June 12th at 8 a.m., which will be in that week 5. Grades and grading. For letter grades, it's pretty standard to NCSU. Minuses are in the 0 to 03. I don't like how that phrased. The 90 to 93, the 90 inclusive, 93 not inclusive is an A minus, 93 inclusive to 97 is an A, 97 inclusive to 100 inclusive is an A plus, and it's a similar pattern for B's, C's, D's, and F's. There is an additional policy for, I believe, NC State, that being the pass-fail options. There's more information on that. If there are any questions, there's a syllabus forum. I encourage you to post it there, and I can link those things. Those will be applicable to this course. Grading breakdown, 20% is going to be from WebAssign homeworks, 10% is from those forum postings, 15% from test 1, 15% from test 2, and then the project and final exam will each cover 20%. The final will be a cumulative exam. If you believe a grading error was made on your exam, there is a policy for having a request made for that to be checked or re-examined. In that scenario, you'd want to send an email to me explicitly stating which problem it was on and what you believe the error to be. I do require that you send this email within 1 week of the graded exam being returned. Otherwise, I'm going to consider it too old to process. But I encourage you to look through your exams to see if anything doesn't add up, to email me if there seems to be a problem. I want you to get all the points you deserve. And now we're on to our schedule. So our schedule is broken down. There will be kind of something to do on every day of the week. However, up to exams, there is really not much requirement that you do break it down into 1 day each of the week. Once the week comes around, you'll have access to all the material. If you really wanted to do so, you could do it all that Monday, or you could wait all to that Friday and just do it all then. And again, as long as you're getting the WebAssign assignments done, as long as you're ultimately getting forum postings in the forum made, then you have a little bit of control as to how you decide to pace yourself. At the beginning of each week, I'll send an email saying what sort of WebAssign assignments will be due, and if there's exam, I'll point that out because the exam does require some sort of order in how you do things. For example, when we get to week 4, we have a test in the middle of the week. This test is going to be on a Wednesday, which means for up until this point, maybe it works best for you to do all the lectures and forum postings on Fridays. However, in week 4, you're going to want to have seen 7.1 and maybe the review before your exam, which will be on Wednesday. A similar sentiment for the project due date in week 5. But again, there's a little bit more control as to when you view the material. And then we end our syllabus with some policies and official statements. Academic integrity, this is saying that there is a code of conduct to be a student here, and it is expected of you. This means don't cheat and don't be academically dishonest. I want all of you to be able to succeed. If you have any issues or any difficulties with that, please reach out to me. There are other means to help yourself other than just trying to get ahead quick by using dishonest means. We have course evaluations. Course evaluations will be done at the end of the summer and are very useful for me as an educator to be a better educator. If you liked this course, or if you didn't like this course, if you had any comments, or if you didn't have any comments at all, those are useful things to be told about in the course evaluations. It's completely confidential, but it is a big help for me to do my job better and to help future students have a better time in the classroom. When we get closer to the end of the semester, I'll be saying more about course evaluations. Accommodations for disabilities. As much as possible, I will make sure to accommodate for the variety of differences we have in our classroom, and I will do what I am able to do. Trans-inclusive statement, mainly saying if you have a name that's different from any name that shows in any system, and you don't want the name in any system to be used, please let me know. I'll do everything in my power to use the name you want to be used. Basic needs and security. Any student who faces challenging securing their food or housing or has other severe adverse experiences, believe this may affect their performance, please let me know. Alternatively, there is a PAC Essentials program to help with anything like this. And then we also have supporting fellow students in distress. We are in very trying times and we're in a very unusual situation. If for any reason you come across a classmate whose personal behavior concerns or worries you, for your classmates' well-being, for your well-being, or for the well-being of others, in that case I encourage you to report the behavior at the NC State Student of Concern website. Just go.ncsu.edu/ncsucares. Last, we have a list of policies such as equal opportunity non-discrimination policy, our code of student conduct, grades and grade point average, how to go to a credit-only course, and how to switch to audits. All of these things are available for you to learn more about. And that is a quick overview of the syllabus for this course.